it's Mitzi. Welcome to my channel. Today I am sharing an update on what I've been reading during the month of December. Now, if you've followed my channel, you know that I participated in a couple of readathons, Cloak and Dagger Christmas and Christie's Missing readathon, and both of those deal with mysteries. So I thought it would be fun to connect the two because they easily work together. So I read some things for that, and I'm still reading for Cloak and Dagger Christmas. And then I also have been reading some Christmas short stories, and I've already posted about some of those short stories, so I'll leave a link below to that video if you're interested. I started the month off with Christie's Missing, that readathon, and I read the group read, which was the Centerford Mystery, and I really loved this one. This was a great Christie for me. If you follow my channel, you know I'm trying to read at least one a month, and I am really trying to, right now, read a lot of the standalones, because I know that in the series, some will say, well, it doesn't matter if you read them in order or whatever, but I kind of like reading things in order, so when it's a series. And so when I get to Miss Marple, you know, I want to start at the beginning and kind of go through. Now, I have read some Poirot and Marple books, but I kind of want to read those in order if I can. So I've been really sticking with the standalones, and this is the one I had already chosen, and then it was the group read, so it was perfect for me. I loved it. It starts out with a seance, and then there's this snowstorm. So from the beginning, I was hooked on this one. And I just love the aspect of using the seance of, you know, okay, is this going to be some kind of paranormal thing, or is it there's somebody behind it? And it was fun for me. This one is so far one of my favorites for Agatha Christie. So I'm glad that I was able to participate in that readathon. I also read a couple of books that I checked out from the library, and that was the Vanderbeekers of 141st Street, I think is the name of that one, and I loved it. That was one that has been on my radar for a very long time. I keep seeing people talk about it on BookTube, and I had thought, oh, I know I'll like that. That sounds really cute, and I've, you know, seen it different places, and so when I saw it at the library, I checked that one out because I had wanted to read it for so long, and I'm glad I did. And what was so funny about it was, as I started reading it, I realized it was actually Christmas themed. I didn't know that it was set during Christmas time, but it's a few days before Christmas. It's a family that lives in, I think, Harlem, in a brownstone, and their lease is not going to be renewed, and they pretty much have to move out. They're trying to pack up and move out during Christmas time. So it was a lot of fun to read it then, because they're trying to decorate and celebrate Christmas while they're also concerned about losing their home. And so it was just a fun one. It reminded me a lot of the Ramona Quimby books by Beverly Cleary. I grew up on those books, and I remember enjoying those books because it was about the family dynamic, Ramona's family, and it was always a lot of fun. And as I was reading the Vanderbeekers, I thought about, there's one scene in, I think it's Ramona Quimby age 8, I think it's that particular book, where at the very end, the family, they've been struggling. The dad has ended up getting a different job, and it, you know, the pay's cut and all this kind of stuff, and they go to this restaurant, and they're struggling for money, so this is a big deal for them to even go out to eat. And so they go to the restaurant, and there's a couple there that ends up paying for their meal because they're a nice family. And so when they get back in the car, Ramona's thinking about that as they leave, you know, that she's remembering the things that have happened in this particular book, of course, but that overall they are a nice family, and they love each other, and they support each other. And so that particular scene always warmed my heart. I loved that scene in that book. And so this book gives me those same feels. It's a family that lives, like I say, in Harlem, and they have these neighbors that they're close to, and then there's this landlord who is not so nice, and he's kind of mysterious. And so there's the whole dynamic with the family and with this landlord, and it's just, it was really a heartwarming favorite read for me. And so I do plan on reading more in the Vanderbeekers series. So whoever has been talking about that series, thank you, because I'm glad I read it. I also checked out from the library one called The Mystery at Black Hollow Lane. Again, it was a middle grade book. Super fun. It's a mystery where a girl she's just this average American kid who plays soccer, and she ends up going to England to a boarding school, and she's never been to a boarding school, and so there's the whole dynamic of that. And her father actually disappeared from her life on like her 3rd or 4th birthday, and all that he left behind was this chest with these strange objects inside. So when she gets to the boarding school, things start coming together about this box, because her dad actually had attended this boarding school. So there's a fun mystery to solve with what's in the box and the mystery of her dad. So those are some of the things that happen in that one, and it was a lot of fun. And then I think that series is going to continue, because at the end it kind of left some loose ends about the missing father. So I think it's going to continue. The same thing happened with Anola Holmes. I read this one at the beginning of the month too, and it was fun. I had wanted to read this for Historathon, but then I didn't, so I decided to start the month of December with it, and it was a lot of fun too. It's the same kind of thing where there's a mystery within a mystery. Enola is Sherlock Holmes' little sister, and her mother goes missing on her birthday, so it's kind of similar to the other one I was just talking about. And at the beginning, she's on a quest to find her mother, but then something else happens within the story, and she solves that case within the story, but her mother is still missing at the end of this one. But there's hints toward her mother in this story, and I think that's going to be like the thread that keeps all of these woven together in this series. I'm not sure, but I think that's what's going to happen. I did try to watch the movie, but I didn't finish it. It was okay, but to be fair to the movie, I'm really not that big of a movie or TV person. I really have to be in the mood for a TV or movie. And I started it and just wasn't into it. I might finish it later. There's a lot of differences between them, so I don't know if I'll go back to it or not, but it was fun, and I did enjoy the little book. I also read the 13th Tale. I've been wanting to read this for years, and I've had this on my shelf for a very long time. This is a 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. Now, I had 5-star predictions about this because I've heard great things about it, and it's Gothic fiction. So for me, the premise of this sounds like the perfect read for me. So when I started it, of course I thought, okay, it's going to be a 5-star read. Because it didn't start that way, I had 2 false starts. I started reading this a couple of years ago and just was like, okay, this is not what I thought it was, and put it back on my shelf. A little later, I tried again and thought, I don't think I'm going to be able to read it. And I almost unhauled it. But then someone mentioned it the other day. I think it was Nikki from Red Dot Reads, and I thought, okay, by the end of this year, I'm reading that. If I don't read it, I'm unhauling it. So I sat down and got through that hump at the beginning. For some reason, I have a disconnect with the beginning of this story. I'm not sure. If you did, let me know in the comments, or if you think you know why I had a disconnect, because I'm really not sure why. So I definitely couldn't give it 5 stars because it took me 3 tries to even read the thing. However, after that, I did enjoy it. So if you like Gothic fiction, I do recommend reading it. However, there were just some things in it that was a little Gothic overkill to me. Now, the one thing I will say, I like that it's a breadcrumb book, and I call it a breadcrumb book because there's breadcrumbs. You know, you're following along and they keep you going. The writer is pulling you through, and you just have to find out what's going to happen. That is this book. You do want to know what's going to happen, and so once I got over that hump at the beginning and she really got into the story, I was invested and I did want to know. Kate Morton does the same thing. It's that style book. If you like Kate Morton, it's that breadcrumb book where she feeds you slowly along and you build on that. So I do like that part of it. I like the whole, there's this crumbling estate and a secret. All of that's in here, which most Gothic fiction has. However, by the end, I still had some loose ends. I was confused about a couple of things because I didn't see some of it as plausible. Now, I know that you have to you know, suspend belief on some things. I get that. But with this one, I was frustrated at the end. And I don't like feeling frustrated when I finish a book. However, I did enjoy the read. And if you like Gothic fiction, I do recommend reading it. So, and I had read this one by Diane Setterfield years ago, Bellman in Black, and I loved it. So maybe I just had high expectations on it because it had been hyped on BookTube, and so I guess I just thought that it was going to be like my favorite read of all time or something. So anyway, those are some of the books that I have been reading. Again, I'm reading a lot of Christmas short stories right now just to squeeze in because it is a super busy time for me. What are you reading? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.